Sling Guide. Why would you need to make that? It's literally the easiest character in the game. All you need to do is aim. Right? Right? Oh no. Okay, so to preface this, I'm probably not the best Sling main out there. There are probably better ones, but I'm like halfway decent at them, so I think this guide might be helpful to some beginner Sling mains. And also, the most important thing with Sling, before anything else, that you have to get good at aiming. If you can't hit your shots, I wouldn't recommend playing Sling. I'd recommend playing a melee or an easier character that can, for aim, like vinestaff or even Subspace, because Subspace, you don't get punished that hard for missing. So, yeah, that's right before we get into whatever video. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about Sling's abilities. His passive, his M1, his M2, his E, his Q. They're all great, and the first one that we're starting with is his passive. Okay, so for his passive, Quick Feet, I really think this is like one of the best passives in the game. Personally, it just gives like a lot of movement, the double jump, the hover, the extra charge shots with the hover, the speed boost on all your abilities. It's just like way good, and because of the speed boost, it really meshes well with your abilities since you're always gonna want to be using them. The double jump just gives like a lot of mobility, so does the hover, and then you have the speed boost, which, as I said, I mean, it just gives you even more mobility. Like, it's all about mobility, and I really think that just makes it one of the best in the game. Okay, now we're going on to M1. M1, it's his most basic ability. Not much to say about it. I mean, it can be charged, has fall off at like 50 studs. It can be charged faster when hovering. I mean, it does up to 20 damage. I mean, it's just really basic. It's his M1. What do you expect? I mean, yeah, it's M1. Okay, so finally M2. M2 is so good. Most vital, versatile ability. Infinite range, zero fall off makes this so good. Honestly, his best ability. I mean, besides Finisher, but Finisher, and even then M2 is like still like right next to it. I mean, it roots enemies, sets up combos. It just does so much. It just does. I'll talk about this more in ability usage, but it just does so much. Always be using this. Okay, first E. E is really good. It's just a forward dash if you don't know dolphin jump tech. I like to call it the dolphin jump tech. I love saying that. I just like dolphins, and it jumps up high. If you see the dolphin jump, it's pretty cool. But dolphin jump tech is when you stop using WASD, you stop moving entirely, look up, like straight up, like up as far as you can go, and then just press E. And it sends you flying through the air. It's so cool. I love it. It gives you so much vertical mobility. It gives you so much horizontal mobility. Because of his passive, it gives you a 20% speed boost. It's good for repositioning, mixing up your enemies. It's good for everything. It's really versatile. Really, really good. Amazing ability. Love it. Okay, now we're on to Q. Q, it's underwhelming compared to his other moves. I mean, Q is fine. It's cool. It's awesome. It's whatever. It shoots out 5 projectiles. Each of them do 8 damage, up to 40 damage on one target. I guess you can split between them if they're like close together, but I mean, what else does it do? It ricochets. You make a little hop before you do it. I mean, there's not a lot there. I don't like. Yeah, that's really about it. I mean, it combos from M2, but that's kind of an M2 thing instead of a Q thing. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. It does up to 40 damage. Good burst damage, but it's just a little bit underwhelming compared to his other stuff. Okay, and finally we have the Finisher. I like to call it an ultimate because Overwatch 2 has ruined my mental health. But okay, so ultimate, you can shoot up to 3 like huge laser beams that go through stage, go through everything. They pierce through enemies so you can hit multiple. It's good. It's really good. It can combo from M2. It can, I mean, it has really good versatility because it doubles your movement speed. You have wall hacks. I mean, it's good. It's amazing. It's a little bit worse than other ultimates, but I'd say with the buffs they gave it about like a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, it's like still really good. I mean, with it giving wall hacks, sometimes you can just hit people through walls. It's crazy. I like it a lot. It applies slow debuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, and on to ability management. So this is just going to talk about when and or how to use your abilities, what situations they're good in, what situations they might not be so good in, you know, everything about that. Everything about how and when to use your abilities. So, for your passive. Obviously, you want to use your passive whenever possible, but it can be like really, really difficult since your primary fire stops you from jumping and you need to be in the air to double jump and then hover. It gets annoying. It gets really, really annoying. So what I like to do is I like to either just press E before I'm gonna use my passive, or I just sometimes use Q instead. It won't stop your damage from like falling off, because if you stop using M1, then you're not gonna have as much damage output. So if you use E instead, it can stop your damage output from like lowering, and it can like put you in the air to like increase it from charging shots. So that's what I usually do. Other things, you probably don't want to use it if there's nobody around you, there's nobody to hit, right? If you're in high ground, sometimes you don't need to do the double jump, so you can just keep shooting on the ground, then like fall off the ground, and then jump back on it. Pretty easy. Yeah, otherwise, just pretty much always try and have double jump and hover up if you can, and cycle through it with your other abilities. Okay, so for your M1, I mean, it's just your basic ability. You just want to use it when Q and M2 are on cooldown, and always use it when you're hovering in the air, because otherwise your damage output will go lower. Obviously, it's pretty effective to get damage in, but M2 and Q should almost always be used first. There are some exceptions with certain matchups, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so for M2, amazing ability. I love it. It should always be used when it's not on cooldown. There are very few exceptions, as I said, with certain matchups. Sometimes you want to wait for people to peek. If they're peeking, like around the corner, obviously don't use it, it'll waste your cooldown. If you're waiting out for an ultimate, like Skateboard ultimate, you can use it there. But otherwise, always use it when it's not on cooldown. This is Slingshot's like most important ability. It secures kills, it disables enemies, it can even support your teammates sometimes if they need to catch up with an enemy. It's such a good ability. Honestly, the best way to get to know this ability is just to play on your own. Since it's so vital, you should be using it all the time. If you use it more, you'll know what situations to use it in, and yeah, you'll figure it out. Okay, so for Slingshot's E, honestly, it's so good. It's so vital to gameplay. One of the best abilities for movement in the game. Sometimes, like, it allows for great omnidirectional mobility. It's almost unparalleled besides like Biograph's E, which, I mean, he can do it twice in any direction. There's Hyperlaser's Q. No, it's still his E. All the E's in this game are good. But anyway, Slingshot's E, almost unparalleled in terms of like cooldown and movement, and it gives you 20% haste. Omnidirectional, very good. You want to use it to mix up your opponents, chase opponents, and get to places where you couldn't otherwise, because you can dash upwards, do your dolphin jump, get to high ground on like, you can get to high ground basically anywhere with this ability actually, since you also have double jump, hover. Q gives you a short hop in case you need that too. Like, you can get almost anywhere with this ability. It's just amazing. You can get high ground with it, you can trick opponents with it, you can get height to get away from melees. It's just really good. Okay, so for your Q, for your Q ability, I'd say that it's just an overall like decent ability. You can use it at far range to like try and get extra damage in, like chip damage. You can use that at close range to get like a burst of damage. I usually say to try and use it in a close range, but you know, it doesn't hurt to get chip damage in on people from far away. You can use it as a ricochet, which is, it's kind of funny when it works, but usually it doesn't. And then, like, what else? I mean, you can use it to get into your passive, so you can hover shoot more. That's really about it. Yeah, that's about it for Q. Not a lot to say about it. Okay, so finally for Slingshot's ultimate. I mean, for Slingshot's ultimate, there's never like a good or bad time to use it, unless you're like in the middle of a team fight in the center of Conquer and everybody's surrounding you and you use it there and die immediately because... Anyways, I'm ranting. I mean, there's not a good or bad time to use it. You get 100% haste, which means you can sometimes speed to point. If there's like 15 seconds left on Telemon on like a Conquer map, you can sometimes speed the point if they need you. You can shoot through walls, so if you want to revenge kill somebody immediately after they killed you, sometimes you can just hit them with it. And it's like really funny for no reason. It's good for crowd control and like small corridors, so like in Roblox HQ you can just like shoot down that middle and almost nobody can dodge it unless they position themselves on the walls, but then you can just do it differently. It's a really good ultimate. I'd just say to use it when it feels natural, but if you want a specific example, try to use it when they're grouped up. Try to use it when you need to get back to Conquer points. Try to use it to combo somebody with a 90% combo and debuff them with a speed debuff, because you can do that. Yeah, not a bad time to use it, not a good time to use it, like, it's fine. Okay. We finally get the playstyles, okay? First of all, I'm going to talk about the playstyle that I hate, then I'll talk about the one I love. So, first of all, Snipersling. Yucky, okay? And you know why? Because he does no damage as a sniper. He has fall off at 50 studs. That's not okay. Don't play him as a sniper, guys. But if you really want to, then I'll tell you how, okay? First of all, if you want to play Sling as a sniper, you're gonna have to have like a lot of game sense and really good aim, because you're sniping as Sling. He doesn't have like a big hitbox on his friggin' shots. You're gonna have to have good aim, and you're gonna have to have good aim sense, because you're gonna have to know when your team is trouble. You know why? Because you're going to have to play as a pseudo support. What I mean by that is that you're only going to help your team out. You're not gonna secure kills. You're not gonna have a really fast play style. You're gonna play slowly, and you're gonna help secure your team's kills. You're gonna use M2 a lot to make sure that. So imagine, right? You're gonna make sure that your team is safe by using M2 to stop people from killing your teammates. Imagine, Biograph is on your medkit. What are you gonna do? You're gonna M2 that Biograph and snipe him from 100 meters away, okay? That's what you're gonna do. And that little moment will allow your medkit to get away to your tank, okay? That's what it's gonna do. Or it's even gonna secure the kill, because your M2 does 40 damage. Or imagine this. An enemy Hyper is running away from your Banhammer. It uses E. What do? You M2 him to stop the Hyperlaser from running away so your Banhammer can catch up to him. You then volley them with fucking M1s from like 200 meters away. It's fine. Or studs, I guess. I'm saying studs and meters. Not the same thing. Don't worry about me. Okay. That's basically what you want to do with Snipersling, though. I don't like how Snipersling plays, but if you're gonna do it, make sure you have good game sense so you know when your team is in trouble and how to help them out, okay? Okay, so, frontlining Sling. It's, well, I guess you can mid and frontline too, but like, basically the same thing, because Sling is really good at dodging damage, especially from melees. You know why? Because he can hover in the air for 2 seconds, and then he can extend that time by like 4 extra seconds with his E, his Q, and his M2. It's really crazy how long he can just stay in the air and stop and just not get hit by melees for. He can not get hit for like a clean 6 or 7 seconds. It's crazy. So obviously you want to stay above the fight the entire time. Your biggest threats would probably be ranged and some supports, but even then, like, you can just kill them because he has such high burst damage. You're gonna want to go after the supports and the ranged like Hyperlaser and enemy slings. Those are basically the two people you want to go for on range side. On when you're facing supports, you want to go after supports the most because they help their team way too much. Subspace, sometimes boombox, not really boombox that much. Vinestaffs, medkits, you want to go after all of them because they just help their team so much. You want to keep frontline. You want to stay in the fight for as long as possible. Retreat when your cooldowns are like gone for a little bit, and then go back in once all your cooldowns have reset. That's really what you want to do with this frontlining, hyper aggressive playstyle. You just want to. Sometimes you want to flank as well. That's kind of a different playstyle, but after you flank, you want to get right back into the middle of the fight too. So they kind of work in tandem. I can talk a little bit about it. So I mean, I guess there's a flanking playstyle, but really flanking just kind of coincides with the frontline playstyle because you want to flank the supports, obviously. But once you do that, if they're isolated and stuff, once you do that, you obviously want to get right back into the fight. So it's really just kind of mixing them together, I guess. It's not so much a playstyle as it is a part of frontlining. I mean, I guess you flank first and then start the frontline, but it's basically the same thing. Okay, and finally, we get to the matchups. I love matchups. They're so fun. Okay, get ready, guys, because first off, we're starting with Banhammer. By the way, these will go in alphabetical order, so, I'll try to timestamp it, but that might be a little bit too much. I'll try to timestamp it. I'll try. Okay, so Banhammer, he's kind of a high priority target, I'm not even gonna lie. Honestly, you don't want to go for tanks too much, but if it's a Banhammer, then just help your team out with him. He's high priority on helping, but not high priority on really killing, because, of course you can kill him if he's, like, chasing you, but, honestly, let your team deal with him. Well, no, I guess you can deal with him. You can deal with Banhammer. Anybody can deal with Banhammer, it's just kind of not very good. Use your M2, stay safe to the way, you'll be fine. If he does get the jump on you, the best thing to do is wait, like, right until he attacks, and then right after his attack ends, you want to dash out of his range. It gives you 20% speed boost, you dash out of his range, he just can't get you. And just hover shoot him. Dolphin jump can also be extremely useful because you can just go, like, way above him. Yeah, he's just easy pickings. I don't know. Okay, so for Biofart, Biograph. Sorry, guys. Okay, Biograph is, like, really difficult to hit. If you have enough experience, it's a little bit predictable to see his movements. He always blinks in the direction he's going, so just, like, aim a little bit above, like, after where you think he'll go, and then you'll probably hit him. It really depends on them too, because how skilled they are with Biograph depends on how much they blink, how much they use their teleport. Just stay in the air as much as possible. Usually he can't kill you if you stay in the air, like, really long, unless they use his M2 into Q, ult, combo. It's a whole thing. They can use E, but, like, if you can hit your shots, try and hit him. Stay in the air as much as you can. Just try to stay away from him. And sometimes you can get really easy shots on him if he, like, goes, like, right next to you, so go for that too. Otherwise, he's kind of medium priority. Get him if you can. If you really need to focus on other people, you know. Okay, so for boombox, kind of difficult to play around, but you can pierce his barrier with M2 to root him, so, like, teammates can catch up to him. He can't run away from you guys. Like, M2 is just really good overall. You can fly above his barrier with dolphin jump, or sometimes just double jump, and then you can just get free shots in by hovering above him since he can't angle his barrier upward, which is really nice. And technically, if there's, like, a roof above him and he has his barrier, you can ricochet off the roof, or, like, sometimes the walls too, but that's, like, really difficult, and I don't know trigonometry like that, so yeah, that's basically it for him. Okay, so Hyperlaser. Hyperlaser really does depend on both of your skill levels, but, honestly, you can just sometimes be defeated with teamwork if you're worse than him. Okay, let's say again you go against the, like, person with the best aim ever, Boy So Nice, okay? he has the best aim in the game. What you want to do is you want to annoy him and flank him as much as possible. Okay, you want to, because he is such an asset to the team when he has the best aim in the game. Yeah, just flank them, annoy them, do anything you can to distract them. Even if you can't kill them, just keep distracting them because of how much they are an asset to the team, okay? Sometimes, like, honestly, you want to do that a lot when they're distracted, like reloading or just shooting a different target. If you know they're on the last bullet and they shoot, like, go directly after them. You can hover shoot them to stop them from critting you because it's really hard to get crits off when you're hovering above them. One extra thing, if you suspect they'll wireframe you, you can pre-charge a shot, get to like 20, even if they wireframe you, it won't get rid of the shot, and you can still shoot it like during your wireframe. Same thing with M2, if they wireframe you during M2, it'll still shoot it. Yeah, that's basically it. Katana. Okay, Katana is so annoying to play against. I hate Katana. Recently, got a nerf. I'm so glad, even though he's like one of the worst characters in the game. Honestly, I still wouldn't go for them. If they have a good team, you can like ignore him because they're just gonna heal him up. The grapple is annoying. If you want to play around that, just dash away after he hits you 2 times. Like, he can't really do much. As long as you have the speed boost from your abilities, you're probably fine. You can just run away from him. Try to ignore him as much as you can, unless he's like really low health, like 60 health or less, or he doesn't have like any supports. Otherwise, yeah, very low priority. I wouldn't recommend going for him that much. Maybe get some stray shots on him if he's like on point and destroying your team. Yeah, otherwise I'd say to go for the supports. Supports are always the backline. Always the backbone of society and your team. Also, remember, if you're 1v1ing Katana, you win. Keep your distance and run when he grapples you, you win the 1v1. You're gonna be fine, okay? One more thing to add, if he's destroying your team, yeah, just go for him. I mean, I might have said that before, but if he's destroying your team, just actively go for him. Or go for his supports first and then him. Like, if there's one Katana and you're better than him, just kill him, you know? Next up is a Medkit. Very high priority target. You can usually be beaten by just using combos and flanking, but if they have a good team, it can be so fucking hard to deal with this guy, okay? If they have like a really good team, try to go in when they're isolated or mispositioned. You'll kind of see it because their team won't be around them at all and they're just kind of be off to the side. Go in on that, okay? If you have comms with like a teammate too, once they add the team update, tell them to go in on the medkit, okay? Just go in on the medkit. Medkits are so disgustingly good for their team. I mean, unless it's a bad medkit and you just want to ignore them to go for a better player, go for the medkit all the time. They will try to use cover to get away from you if they're good. Do not let that happen. Before they get under cover, try to M2 them, dash towards them, Q them, hover shoot them, you know? You can, I mean, they could still use Q or like to get away, or they can use E to stop the route because that cleanses. But if they do that, you can either wait for them to use their abilities and then M2 into Q, get that combo off, or you can just like go in on it, make them waste it, and then if you have comms with your team, you can tell them to go in on that. Honestly, it's a really hard matchup, but you need to learn it if you want to be like really effective as Slingshot. That's basically it for Medkit. Just kill all Medkits, you know? Sorry, Medkit lover. Next up is Rocket. So Rocket is a little bit funny. I mean, they're like medium priority. Sometimes you want to go for them, sometimes you don't. I mean, if they're really messing up your team, you want to go for them, obviously. If you want to know the matchup though, never use M2 or Q unless they're like ulting or occupied, since they can get easy damage off any of their options. If they know how to aim, they can get a huge M2 off you once you use your M2. They can get their triple E off. They can rocket into triple E, which does so much damage. Use Q, they triple E you on reaction. It's just so easy for them to get attacks off, so never use M2 or Q. I mean, unless they're ulting or occupied, as I said before. most of Rocket's attacks actually can be reacted to or dodged with, like E, or just good movement in the air. Obviously stay in the air as much as possible because it's really, really difficult for them to hit anything in the air. Like, have you tried hitting a flying slingshot using Q, like, with his rockets? It's impossible. Okay, so Skateboard. Skateboard is like medium to high priority depending on how good they are. If a skate is constantly harassing your backline, you kind of want to like actively go for them, but it really depends on your aim too. Really, really hard to hit if they're good at the game. If you honestly, you want to ignore them if they're like not doing much, but if they're in your backline and they're just like killing your supports constantly, you want to go after them. You want to M2 them. If you're like really, really confident in your aim, try to M2 them like as much as you can because it just takes them straight off board. There's nothing they can really do about it. And if they use, so there's this little tech, right, where they use Q and it stops them from getting offboarded. If they use that, immediately go in with just a barrage of M1s, okay? Double jump, hover into M1, just a bunch. Because it leaves them at like, what, 15 speed? It's really easy to hit them at that point. So kind of ignore them if they're like bad at the game, but if they're like really good at the game and they're constantly harassing your backline, try and go for them because they're going to be a nuisance. Okay, finally, the Slingshot 1v1. Slingshot 1v1 is, honestly, it's kind of the better Sling wins, but it's also the better team. Like, if they have a Hyperlaser and a Slingshot, you're going to lose the 1v1 because, well, the Hyperlaser is going to see you messing up their Slingshot and they're going to go for you too, right? So, but in a Sling 1v1, like, isolated 1v1, if you want to, like, be better than them, have better aim, obviously, but also you can use the map to your advantage. Try to hide behind cover. If they shoot, like, peek out and shoot immediately because there's a little bit of cooldown on M1. If they M2 them back, then dash with E to get out of the M2 because dash, like, stops M2. It's whoever M2s first kind of loses. So you want to, if they M2, you want to react immediately with another M2. Just aim at them because it's pretty easy. Dash away immediately because the M2 stuns you or roots you, I guess, you know? So E away and then try and Q them because some people don't know that Q is like really good. It's really just the better Slingshot wins, so yeah, you know. Live, laugh, love. Be the better Sling. Okay, Subspace. Subspace, always try to kill Subspace, no matter what. The highest priority, the amount of support they provide to their team is so invaluable, and honestly, they really aren't good at killing you. I mean, if they have a good team, like, more power to them. Just try and go for them as much as you can, though. Hover shoot them, M2 them, Q them, do anything you can to get this guy out of the game. If they're good, if they have like a pocket medkit, boombox, vinestaff, it's really up to your discretion whether to kill the medkit, vinestaff, and boombox first or to kill like the subspace first, because sometimes the subspace is bad and can't hit their shots, or sometimes the like medkit is bad and doesn't know when to heal their subspace, or maybe they're just pocketing their subspace, you know, just kill the medkit first. Like, it can be extremely difficult to kill a subspace when they have good support. And another thing, if they're ulting, try to M2Q combo them, or even better, M2 like ult combo them, because to stop it early, because, you know, they have like a long windup time on their ultimate. So I mean, just try to kill them as much as possible. Their ult gives way too much utility, their Q gives way too much area control, their everything gives too much everything. You just want to take them out, and it's pretty easy since they can't really hit you that hard back. So just try and take subspace out as much as you can. Okay, Sword. Sword, kind of like really difficult to play against. Like, your team can take care of them, like, but they're just like really hard to kill. It's one of Slingshot's like only counters. Try and get away from Sword. Try to get away from the Sword. Hover shoot them. They still have a projectile, which does like 20 damage, and then they can upward slash. It's not always the best option, but if they have their cooldowns like on cooldown, then try to hover shoot them so they can't hit you. High ground can work, but remember, they have the upward slash, which can give them height, and then they have their dash, which can tackle you to the ground. Like, just try to maintain a place where they can't reach you. like if you have a max height dolphin jump, you jump max height dolphin jump, then double jump, Q, and hover. I don't think they can get you with their upward slash, but they can still get you with their projectiles, so watch out for that. Yeah, just try and stay away from them. Get in a few shots if you can, because they don't have the highest health pool. Root them. They're not very high priority, but you still do want to help out your team with them. So I'd say like medium priority, but even then, if you go after them, they might like have a vendetta against you and something, you know, go after you. Like it's just kind of scary playing against them. So do what you think is right in that situation. Try to help your team out with them. Okay, and our final lady of the night, Vinestaff. Okay, so Vinestaff, really easy to pick off, honestly, but really, I mean, high priority, first of all. Very high priority. We want to pick her off, like, pretty soon. She provides really good support in the team. She's pretty easy to pick off, too, but you still want to be cautious to use M2 or Q. Obviously, use it when she's occupied, just like Rocket, but she can absolutely melt you when you're locked in place like that. She can do like 30, 40 damage when you're just like M2 stayed there. Or Q stayed there even. She can do like 20, 30 damage when your Q stayed there. It's like crazy. She can melt you. But otherwise, use your E, kill them with good aim, try and move around them a lot. They have trouble aiming usually. Stay off the ground so they can't root you. That's basically it, yeah, no. That's pretty much it for Vinestaff, so, yeah. Okay, let me get up here. Whoop. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the love and support that you gave me. We're at 244 subscribers right now, which is like, that's really nice. I didn't really think we were going to get that far. I mean, I make fighting videos. It's a niche content stream. Anyway, thank you so much for all the support you guys have given me. I promise, I really do promise that I'll make more videos because I'm kind of in a drought right now. But hey, what can you do, right? Anyways, that's really all I wanted to say. Just thank you. This was supposed to be a 200 subscriber special, but it kind of got delayed. Anyways, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.